The Norwood City School District Board of Education follows a bi-monthly meeting schedule. The first meeting of the month is called our committee meeting. At this meeting, we discuss fully our agenda for the board meeting to be held the third Thursday of each month. As board members, we encourage you to attend, watch, and listen to our committee discussion resulting in action at the board meetings. For full disclosure, our committee meetings and board meetings are always announced, video and audio taped, as well as posted to our webpage for your view. All of our meetings are public and visitors are welcome. Mrs. Campos, would you call the roll, please?
Mr. Atwood.
Present.
Ms. Ballard. Present. Mrs. Rarica.
Present.
Mr. Taylor.
Present.
Mrs. Cole.
Present. If you would please stand and join us for the pledge. I
pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Item 1.04 on the agenda is the adoption of the agenda. Do I have a motion to adopt?
I'll second.
Any discussion? Mrs. Camphouse?
Mr. Atwood.
Yes.
Ms. Ballard. Yes. Mrs. Rarica.
Yes.
Mr. Taylor.
Yes.
Mrs. Cole.
Yes. All right, the next few things are just the acceptance of our minutes. So 1.05, these are the minutes from our regular meeting, October 19th. 1.06, the minutes from the Finance Committee meeting, November 14th. 1.07, minutes from the committee meeting on November 14th. Do I have a motion to approve the minutes listed in 1.05 through 1.07?
I'll second.
Any discussion? Mrs. Campos?
Mr. Atwood.
Yes.
Ms. Ballard. Yes. Mrs. Rarica.
Yes.
Mr. Taylor.
Yes.
Mrs. Cole.
Yes. All right, with that approved, we will move on to section 2 on the agenda. This is our presentation, and we will start with our rising stars, and I will turn it over to Mrs. Chesson. And Ms. Haviland.
Thank you, President Cole. We are thrilled today to celebrate the Rising Stars for the month of November. So when I call your name, I'm going to ask you to come forward, and a board member is going to give you a nice certificate, shake your hand, and then we're going to ask you to stand up here as we say some wonderful things about you that your teachers or that other staff members have written to us about. So tonight we're going to start with Sharpsburg Elementary and Primary's Rising Star. Student for November is Levi Collier.
Christine, is your mic on?
I think it is.
Oh, it is now.
Sharpsburg Elementary would like to recognize Levi Collier as our November Rising Star. Levi is an excellent role model to our second graders this year. He always comes to school with a smile on his face and is ready to learn. He is a PAX leader and consistently makes good choices in school. Levi is creative, honest, trustworthy, and responsible. Levi is always eager to learn new things and participates in class. He sets high expectations for himself and does a great job achieving those expectations on a daily basis. He's a great friend to everyone and the first one to help others. He has such a fun personality and loves to dance whenever he can. His kind heart and PAX choices put a smile on our faces. We are so very proud of him. Keep up the great work, Levi.
Our Norwood View Elementary School Rising Star student for November is Zymaria McCurdy. I don't know if Zymaria is here, but we're going to read all the good things about her. The fourth grade teachers at Norwood View have chosen Zymaria McCurdy as their November Rising Star student. Zymaria is a wonderful student that exemplifies respect, commitment, and integrity. Zymaria is very respectful to others. She is always willing to help classmates and is kind to everyone. She greets her teachers with a warm smile every morning. Zymaria is prepared for class. She has a strong desire to do well and is willing to put in the extra effort needed to be successful. She doesn't hesitate to ask questions when she doesn't understand the content being taught. Zymaria is very kind and respectful to her teachers, other students, and the staff at VIEW. We are very proud of Zymaria. We know she will continue to work hard and be successful for many years to come. Congratulations.
Williams Avenue Elementary Rising Star, Sophia Ho. Sophia is such a hard worker in our classrooms. She knows being a hard worker is what school is all about. She said her favorite part of school is seat work. This is where students complete independent work on their own. She also stated that her other favorite part of school is the weekly spelling tests. She likes to show what she knows and takes pride in completing these assignments. Sophia was nominated by her classmates to be one of our PACS leaders this year as well. This exemplifies her ability to help others within the classroom while also being able to always complete her responsibilities as well. When she is a grown-up, Sophia says she would love a career as a vet so that she can help take care of sick animals. At Williams Avenue Elementary, we can tell that she always strives to do what is right, and we know that one day in her future career, she will emulate these same qualities to help others with her determination. We are so happy to recognize Sophia Ho as the Rising Star at Williams Avenue Elementary this year.
The Norwood Montessori School's Rising Star student for November is George Chang. It is with great pleasure and excitement that we nominate George Chang as the Rising Star for the Norwood Montessori School. George is a first grade student who represents our 3 core peace promises of our classroom by taking care of himself, all living things, and the environment. George shows his kindness and ability to take care of others by offering help when needed, willingly teaching other Montessorians lessons, and sharing his experiences with the class. George is a Montessorian who is excited to learn and then put what he's learned into practice. He also enjoys challenging himself to learn bigger and more difficult concepts. For these reasons and so many more, George is our November Rising Star. Congratulations, George. We are so proud of you and your hard work.
Norwood Middle School's Rising Star student for November is Leilani Gallardo. Leilani Gallardo is a hardworking and mature young woman. She demonstrates her desire to do well in 8th grade by asking insightful questions and being conscientious about her assignments. She is always willing to tackle a difficult task, and she overcomes obstacles with grit and determination. Leilani's compassion and respect for others are obvious when she works cooperatively with other students and staff at Norwood Middle School. No matter if she is welcoming a new student, greeting someone in the morning, or helping another student, Leilani always has a smile on her face. Leilani, thank you for making Norwood Middle School such a wonderful place to learn. You truly are a rising star.
Norwood High School's Rising Star student for November is Nadia Merriweather. Norwood High School would like to nominate Nadia for our November Rising Star. Nadia is an exceptional young woman. She is a strong critical thinker who is motivated by a curiosity to understand her world and those in it. With exceptional verbal skills, it is no surprise that she shines in class discussions. But she also shines on the page. Nadia is thoughtful about her craft and produces out-of-the-box responses to a wide range of topics. Recently, her presentation on the variety of parenting styles and their impacts prompted her teacher, a mother of 2, to say, "I'd sign up for a parenting class with you." She is wise beyond her years, but never patronizing to her peers. She contributes to our community through her leadership in PIP and her positive spirit as a cheerleader. As a pure and genuine learner and leader, Nadia is a model of what Norwood students can be. Congratulations, Nadia.
Our Norwood Athletic Rising Star student for the month is Emily Jones. Kylie.
It's Emily.
Why did I read that?
It says Emily.
I don't know. Because it's a joint effort, right? We do, most definitely. So let's talk about Kylie. Kylie Jones made her Norwood history this fall by becoming the school's single-season leader in goals scored. In her senior campaign, Kylie scored 39 goals. To accompany her goal total, she had 12 assists, which brought her season point total to 90 points. In 11 of the 19 games she played this season, she scored multiple goals, and against Mount Healthy on October 5th, she accounted for 6 goals in the 9-1 Norwood victory. 3 times this season, Kylie was nominated for the Cincinnati Enquirer Soccer Player of the Week. Kylie was also featured on a profile by the Cincinnati Enquirer along with the boys soccer player Graham Metz to discuss their successful seasons. To put a bow on it all, Kylie has earned a few postseason honors. Her honors include First Team All-Miami Valley Conference, First Team All-Southwest Ohio Coaches Association, and Miami Valley Conference Player of the Year. We are so proud of the success that Kylie accomplished this season. We are excited to see what the winter brings. She is also a member of the Norwood girls varsity basketball team, and they seem to be ready for another big season. Congratulations, Kylie.
Staff Rising Star for November is Sue Bisher from Williams Avenue Elementary. The Rising Staff Star for the month of November is Sue Bisher. Originally from Loveland, Ohio, Sue met her husband Bruce while working at the local record store here in Norwood and just celebrated their 43rd anniversary this past October. Congratulations to the two of you. They raised 3 boys together, all graduates of Norwood High School. Sue spent much of her time early on volunteering for the VIEW PTA as her 3 boys made their way through elementary, middle school, and on to high school. She was asked by the building principal at some point, Mr. Zeiner, and the kindergarten teachers about working as an aide in the kindergarten classroom. Sue did not hesitate at the opportunity and has worked for the district since, clocking 26 years and still going. Sue is a pleasure to work with and is always willing to go where she is needed. Her care, concern, and dedication are evident as she makes her way working at multiple age levels and in multiple classrooms throughout the day. Congratulations to Sue Bisher, our Rising Star, Staff Star for the month of November.
So at this time, we're going to ask that all of our rising stars and all the very important people you brought with you this evening will follow Ms. Haviland out to the lobby for some family and friends photographs. Thank you all for being here.
Did you?
right, item 3 on the agenda is personnel superintendent recommendations, and I will turn it over to Superintendent Mrs. Ronan.
Thank you, Madam President. Under employment, 3.01, Section 1, we would like to welcome Bridget Tepe Zares. She is going to be one of our new student assistant aides, so welcome to Norwood. Number 2, those are supplemental contracts for our teachers who take on additional duties. So I am going to stop here for a board vote for employment for our teachers, aides, and some supplementals.
I'd like to make a motion that we approve in the employment sections items 1 and 2.
I'll second.
Any discussion? Mrs. Camp House?
Mr. Atwood,
Yes.
Miss Ballard. Yes. Mrs. Rarica,
Yes.
Mr. Taylor,
Yes.
Mrs. Cole.
Yes.
All right, I will continue under Section 3.01, Employment. Under Section 3, these are pupil activity contracts, and they're for winter and spring sports. We also have in this section supplemental contracts for our non-teaching staff, and we also have a change in status, changing some of our basketball volunteers to assistants. So thank you, and that concludes my report.
I'd like to make a motion that we approve item 3.3, which is the pupil activity contract supplementals and change of status.
I'll second.
Any discussion? I will be abstaining from this vote. Mrs. Camp House?
Mr. Atwood,
Yes.
Miss Ballard. Yes. Mrs. Rarica,
Yes.
Mr. Taylor,
Yes.
Mrs. Cole.
Abstain. All right, moving on. Item 4 on the agenda, this is our Education Committee, and I will turn it over to Mrs. Rarica.
Yes, we have 3 field trips coming up. The Norwood View are going to Cincinnati Observatory, and Williams and Sharpsburg both going to Green Acres. I'd like to move that we approve these field trips.
Do I have a second?
I'll second.
Any discussion? Mrs. Camp House?
Mr. Atwood,
Yes.
Miss Ballard. Yes. Mrs. Rarica,
Yes.
Mr. Taylor,
Yes.
Mrs. Cole.
Yes. Okay, moving along. Item 5, this is our Policy Committee report, and I will turn the floor over to Vice President, Mr. Taylor.
Thank you, Madam President. We have just a few policies for their first reading tonight. Okay, so we'll start with IGBEA, Reading Skills Assessments and Intervention, TGRG. It's related to third grade reading guarantee. IGBEAR aligns with new science of reading curriculum requirements. IKE, Promotion and Retention of Students. Reflects changes to promotion and retention requirements to third grade reading guarantee. IIA, instructional materials, updated to emphasize that selection of instructional materials must comply with state law. IGCF, homeschooling education, rewritten to edit to the title. JEA, compulsory attendance ages, updated to reflect enactment of new ORC 332104. JECE, student withdrawal from school, also reflects enactment of ORC 3321.042. JEDR, student absences and excuses. House Bill 33 made changes to notice requirements related to superintendents seeking to have students' driving privileges revoked due to excessive absences. Updated to reflect new allowance for electronic notice and related requirements. JEG, exclusions and exemptions from school attendance, IGD curricular and extracurricular activities, IGDJ interscholastic activities, and IGDK interscholastic extracurricular activity eligibility. All is just a change from home instruction to home education. JECBC from non-chartered or homeschooled or home education. House Bill 33 made significant changes to home education laws, removing additional approvals for home education. Reflects new process edit to the title. JEC and JN, student fees, fines, and charges, updated to reflect House Bill 33 changes regarding timeline for transfer of records and limitations on when district can withhold based on unpaid fees. Eyes running together. EF/EFB, food services management, free reduced price food services management, free and reduced price food service, updated to reflect requirement that students who qualify for reduced price breakfast and lunch be provided with free meals. GBCC, staff dress and grooming. GBG, staff participation in political activities. GBI, staff gifts and solicitations. KI, public solicitations in schools. All reflect new guidance from Auditor of State related to levy and bond issue campaigns. I'll turn it over the rest of it to Mr. Atwood.
Thank you, Vice President Taylor. We only have 41 of these tonight, so it's a lot for one person to read. So continuing on with the list, we have distribution of materials in the schools, which is KJA. This is new guidance from the Auditor of State related to levy and bond issue campaigns. So if your district currently has a policy adopted prohibiting distribution of any materials, no action is required. Administering medicines to students, which is JHCD. This is updated to reflect the enactment of the new Ohio Revised Code 3313.7117, requiring districts to create and implement seizure action plans for each student with an active seizure diagnosis. Continuing on, we have professional staff contracts and compensation plans, which is GCB-1. It's updated to reflect changes to the definition of written notice, which can be found in the Ohio Revised Code 3319.11 related to teacher contracts. Suspension and termination of professional staff members, which is GCPD. House Bill 33, which is a big bill, revised requirements related to teacher termination hearings, retaining the requirement that the board provide a complete record of termination proceedings, but it no longer requires that it be a stenographic record, because who does that now? Part-time substitute professional staff employment, which is GCE. It's just updated to reflect some small changes. And the references, professional staff development opportunities, which is GCL, added a legal reference to Ohio Revised Code 3319.2213 regarding required training for school counselors. Emergency closings, which is EBCD, it's updated to reflect the requirement for all schools to adopt a plan to make up days unless operate blended or online learning programs. And the plans must include all requirements outlined in the statute. Bonded employees and officers, which is DH. So this is allowing for the treasurer to be covered under this policy at any time during the term of employment, and to allow for the use of an employee dishonesty and faithful performance of duty policy in lieu of the surety bond for the treasurer. And this came out of House Bill 444. Almost done. A deposit of public funds, which is policy number DM. It's updated to reflect the enactment of the new Ohio Revised Code 3313.5319. Again, this is done through House Bill 33, requiring school districts to accept cash payments for tickets to school activities, as well as at concession stands at events. Cash change balances, which is also called petty cash accounts. This is in policy DJB. This is updated to generalized procedures at a board level. Board member conflict of interest, which is policy BBFA, updated to reflect the changes to the ethics law regarding employees of private universities. Also updated overall policy to more clearly outline ethics considerations for board members. Testing programs, which is policy IL, updated to reflect the enactment of the new Ohio Revised Code 3313.6029, requiring the school district to notify parents by June 30th annually of their students' score on the state assessments. Intra-district enrollment, which is policy JECBD. This is updated to reflect the enactment of Ohio Revised Code 3313.984, requiring districts to report the number of students enrolled under open enrollment to the Ohio Department of Education. Truancy, which is JEDA, again, House Bill 33, big one, made changes to notice requirements related to the truancy, allowing for electronic notice and related requirements. Employment of students, which is JK, House Bill 33 made significant changes to home education laws. Parents of students receiving home education are now able to issue an age and schooling certificate for their child over the age of 16. And then the College Credit Plus, which is IGCH-R, as well as LEC-R, the date changes within the legal updates. Those are all the changes. So we do have one policy that we're looking at rescinding for the first reading. This is homeschooling, IGCF-R. We're removing this regulation since it's no longer consistent with the law because of House Bill 33, and they made and completely rewrote the home education policy, so we no longer need the homeschooling policy. And then finally, with the first reading, we do review policies every so many years, and at this time, we're going to be reviewing the parent and family involvement in education policy, which is IGBL, the Title I programs, IGBJ, the admission of homeless students, which is JECAA, and the admission of homeless students dispute resolution process, which is JECAA-R. That is all 41.
Do I have a motion to approve 5.01?
I'll second.
Any discussion?
So I know we put a lot out there, and so if you go back and you listen to this, it's a bunch of names, and then we threw a bunch of letters at everybody, and a lot of times it just doesn't make any sense. And I don't know if we always do a good job of explaining what the letters mean. So if you go into our policy manual, everything, the way it's worked is everything is outlined in an alphabetical. So there's section A, there's section B, section C, and so on. And then once you get under section A, then you have like AA and AB. And that's just a way that the policy manual is organized. So that's the whole purpose of those, all the alphabet soup that we throw out whenever we do this.
And if anybody's interested in hearing more about the policies, you can look at the committee meeting, which in this case was just 2 days ago, and Mrs. Chesson goes into more detail about the policies if anybody wants more information. Any further discussion? All right, Mrs. Camp House?
Mr. Atwood?
Yes.
Ms. Ballard? Yes. Mrs. Rarica?
Yes.
Mr. Taylor?
Yes.
Mrs. Cole?
Yes. All right, with that finished up, we are moving on to item 6. This is building and grounds. Looks like we've had something added, so I will turn it over to Ms. Ballard.
There is one item, and that is the usage for Christmas Town. And they'd like to
Oh,
use the.
Amber, your mic's off.
Oh, I'm so sorry. There we go, let's try that again. We only have one usage request at this time, and that is for the Norwood Christmas Town. to utilize our Norwood Middle School field house and parking lot, just like in years past. And that would be on Saturday, December 2nd. And that would be early arrival set up at 8 o'clock, but the event starts at 10 a.m. So I would hope that a lot of the members of the community who've enjoyed it in the past and some new folks can come out and check it out for the first time. It's a very big event, and we are grateful to be partners to host. I would like to make a motion that we accept the usage as presented.
I'll second it.
Any discussion?
I thought we already approved this one in July or something. I'm glad to see it got in here. I guess we do it every year. It
I
just
don't think
seems like
anybody
we
would have been
just
alarmed.
Because it's in 2 weeks.
I guess the Christmas bells were going off.
Yeah.
Mrs. Campos?
Mr. Atwood,
Yes.
Ms. Ballard,
Yes.
Mrs. Rarica.
Yes.
Mr. Taylor,
Yes.
Mrs. Cole.
Yes. All right, with that approved, we can move on to item 7. This is our Finance Committee report, and I will turn it over to our treasurer, Mrs. Campos.
Thank you, Madam President. 7.01, financial reports. The monthly financials, CFO report, and change order spreadsheets are attached for your approval tonight. 7.02, permanent appropriation resolution and 412 certificate, which is our permanent budget for the year, is attached for your approval. 7.03, amended certificate to adjust the estimated revenues and budget for Hamilton County Auditor's Office compliance and oversight. 7.04, five-year forecast and assumptions. As we reviewed this on Tuesday, I'll file it tomorrow with ODE after your approval. 7.05, resolution to approve modified tax budget. This resolution will just allow me to file the shorter tax budget, which is just simpler. 7.06, Shea Stadium project, gray box, notice to proceed. This just allows this tells the general contractor and the subcontractors to go ahead with Shea's remodel project. 7.07, Shea Stadium Boats Project, change orders 1 and 2. This is a contract to replace Shea's field and track, and change order number 1 is just a timing issue that we're pulling forward, so it's a good change for us. And change order number 2 is to add the blue exchange zones in the track itself. 7.08, bid advertisement for elevator modernization. To approve the ad to request bids to update the elevators at View and the high school. 7.09, independent contract with Glenna Edwards to provide additional coordination services for Norwood Ready Kids program. And the last one, 7.10, then and now purchase orders, just a couple of purchase orders that need further approval tonight.
Do I have a motion to approve 7.01 through 7.10?
I'll motion.
I'll second.
Any discussion? Mrs. Campos?
Mr. Atwood,
Yes.
Ms. Ballard,
Yes.
Mrs. Rarica,
Yes.
Mr. Taylor,
Yes.
Mrs. Cole.
Yes. Item 8 on the agenda is the hearing of the public, and I have not received any notification of anybody wishing to speak, so we can move on to item 9, which is the report section. 9.01, board announcements. Any board members have anything to share?
Christmas Town's in 2 weeks.
And I'd just like to congratulate keeping our 2 board members.
Oh,
thank
Ms. Debbie
you.
Cole and Ms. Alice Rarica for winning their election, and we'll get to swear them back in January. So congratulations.
Thank you. Any other board announcements? All right.
Go to the play tomorrow.
Oh, yeah, that is this
Play tomorrow.
Mamma mia.
Yep, and our orchestra played last night. They were so adorable.
I will have more on that in my update.
Oh, sorry.
No, you're fine. It's okay. Anything else? All right, 9.02 is our superintendent's report.
Thank you, Madam President. Well, thank you, Christina. My new clicker's not working. Ah, there we go. All right. Norwood School celebrated their Veterans Day by sending personal letters to all of our local veterans, inviting them to a reception at Norwood View in the library where our Norwood Kroger provided refreshments. Next slide, please. The reception was followed by a parade through the building, a flag raising. As you can see, there's the flag raising picture. The 20 veterans were then escorted to the auditorium where they sat on stage and were recognized by name. And as you can see, I think was the largest group we've had with 20 veterans there. And there's student artwork behind those beautiful eagles. The artwork was put together by Miss Tessian. Her students had artwork throughout the building. So we had Mr. Lockett and Mrs. Geller had each grade level sing a song for the music portion of the program. Alex O'Connor, pictured here, he's in the 5th grade, and he gave the speech thanking our veterans. And I think Alex, bless his heart, looks very relieved. This is after he gave his great speech. And of course, his grandfather, Rich Davis, was there, who was very proud of him. And Mr. Yates, the former principal, returned for this great event. And then I was told, and Mr. Yates also brought his granddaughter along. And I understand that the grandmother of one of the veterans called into a local radio station to thank the district for such a great program honoring all of our local veterans. Thank you.
Norwood View does an absolutely phenomenal job with that program,
They do.
year after year. It is amazing what they put into that. All right, 9.03, this is the Great Oaks report, and I will turn it over to Ms. Ballard.
Thank you, Madam President. The board shared a moment of silence to honor the memory of our Great Oaks colleague and a member to me, Carol May Ellis, who passed away on October 22nd. You may remember the name because I mentioned her here recently. She was recognized for her many years of service and education at the most recent regional meeting. Carol was first elected to the Board of Education for Mount Healthy Schools in 1980, totaling 43 years representing Mount Healthy and many of those years also at Great Oaks. She was a strong lady that always spoke her truth and stood up for students and with unwavering dedication. She is dearly missed. We did have some good news at Oaks this year, or this month also, for one of our students. On our student spotlight for November, we get to feature Tatum Cotterman. He is part of our Scarlet Digital Arts and Design program, and he was appointed as the Skills USA Leadership Team Reporter. Our Live Oaks ROTC students from our Milford program, we had 9 seniors, 10 juniors, 2 freshmen, who all won the Army Raider Challenge national competition held at Fort Knox and were awarded full 4-year scholarships to any college in the country that features an ROTC program. These were mixed grade students of also mixed gender. They were all granted full ride scholarships. So we are very proud of those students.
Holy moly.
The state career tech funding grants that passed this summer, it was announced that Oaks was chosen and will receive $6.8 million for expansions in our welding, law enforcement, and an all-new EV tech program that we will begin planning on immediately. And that concludes my report.
Okay, thanks, Ms. Ballard. 9.04, this is Norwood Community Television. Tyler says they started shooting the film club movie. They're shooting it on green screen. And then Tyler and Steve are putting the effects in and show the students the following week. And he said that it's turning out the way they want it to, so I know we can't wait to watch that. Also, they did film the orchestra concert last night, so they're going to put it up on YouTube if it's not there already. And they will also be recording Mamma Mia tomorrow night. They're not allowed to stream it, but they can make it available to students and parents afterwards. So I think that is it. Yep, that's everything for NCT. 9.05, this is the OSBA legislative report, so I will turn it again over to Ms. Ballard.
Thank you, Madam President. House Bill 257 from the House Oversight Committee amended and heard proponent testimony, which would authorize certain public bodies to meet virtually, including school boards and others outlined under the bill. So we are waiting on a decision for that. The Transportation Committee, which doesn't completely apply to us but might, discussed the third hearing on House Bill 279, which would require occupant restraining devices on all buses be added within the next 5 years. House Bill 140. The hearing on this House bill was to discuss increased penalties for those passing a school bus and to allow the use of cameras on buses for increased safety. So we're waiting for those as well. Monday, at our OSBA conference, the Delegates Assembly, including roughly 500 delegates from the boards across the state, presented their only slated item, which happened to be the resolution we presented earlier this year about counting our IEP students with disabilities on the state report card. It passed with thunderous support and was inspiring to witness in person. The OSBA president thanks Norwood for presenting such a widely affirmed vision, and I would personally like to thank Ms. Haviland and Ms. Chesson for their crucial contributions in its development. It passed. Thank you. That concludes my report.
Okay, thank you. And thank you for all the work that you've put in on that as well. It was a big win.
Very much so, and Norwood's name gets to be on it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yay, us.
All right, 9.06, Avenues for Success, and I will turn it over to Mrs. Rarica.
Thank you, Madam President. Avenue for Success is chugging along, and they'd like you to know if you would like to help them, please link your Kroger Plus card. I do believe you have to do that every year, and make sure you link it to Norwood City Schools After School Program on the Kroger site. Ta-da.
All right, item 10 on the agenda, this is the future meetings. Our committee meeting is scheduled for Tuesday, December 5th at the board office at 6 p.m. And the regular meeting is scheduled for Thursday, December 14th at 6 p.m. here in the mini. Do I have a motion to approve 10.01 future meetings?
I'll motion to approve.
Do I have a second?
Second?
Any discussion?
Madam President,
Yes.
I would like the board to consider January 9th for our organizational meeting. As you know, we don't have that set. We don't have next year's board meeting set yet. So I'm just throwing a couple of dates out there for you to consider. January 9th for organizational and the committee meeting, and then January 18th for the regular meeting, if that pleases the boards.
Does anybody have any?
I already have it in my calendar as the 9th, just because I'm working with that. I'm okay with it.
Then it works for you.
What was that, January 9th and
January
January
9th and
and-
January 18th.
18th? Okay.
I will still be out of town from the conference in December, so I won't be at that first meeting.
December 5th.
The 5th,
Okay.
but I don't need it moved or anything.
Okay.
And you said the 14th, correct?
18th. December 14th.
December 14th,
December 14th, yes.
instead of the 12th and 21st.
Yes.
Because
So
I
we're
had the 12th and 21st, but that's pushing it close to Christmas, so we're
Yeah.
looking at moving it back
right. So
that-
December 5th and 14th.
instead.
Yes.
Okay, so yeah,
December-
so I won't make it then.
Yeah, December 5th and 14th,
And then the-
January 9th and 18th.
Okay.
9th
Yeah, I
and
had
18th.
12th and 21st, so
Is that good with everybody?
I'll move it.
Okay.
Thank you.
All right. Mrs. Camp House?
Mr. Atwood,
Yes.
Ms. Ballard,
Yes.
Mrs. Rarica,
Yes.
Mr. Taylor,
Yes.
Mrs. Cole.
Yes. All right, item 11, this is adjournment. Do I have a motion to adjourn?
I move to adjourn.
I'll second.
Any discussion? All in favor say aye. Aye. The time is 6:45. We are adjourned. Thank you.